Hello, how are you today? You're welcome to another class in agricultural science. Our topic still remains pest of crops, and this is part 7 of it. In this part, we'll be talking about insect pests that attack fruits and vegetable crops. Our team remains crop protection, and my name still remains Jason Barikmoa. So by the end of the lesson today, you should be able to describe fruits and vegetable crops, identify the insect pests that attack fruits and vegetable crops, and lastly, discuss the different methods used to control pests of fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetable crops are important food crops of humans and animals because of their nutritional values. Majority of the vitamins and minerals that our body requires to function well and to remain healthy are derived from fruits and vegetable crops. Fruits and vegetables can be eaten either raw, cooked, or processed into other forms of food that humans and livestock can eat. Aside from these, they are also important source of income to farmers and other agribusiness owners because they are widely sold all around the world. So what are fruits and vegetables? We are starting with fruits before we define or describe what vegetable crops are. So what are fruit crops? Fruit crops are those crops cultivated primarily for their edible fruits. We have some common examples of them as it is shown on the screen, where we have the oranges, pineapples, apples, mangoes, and so many other ones which you know. What about vegetables? Vegetable crops are cultivated for their edible roots, stems, leaves, flowers, fruits, and seeds. And some common examples of vegetable crops are fluted pumpkin, spinach, cabbage, onion, and so many other ones. These fruit and vegetable crops are mainly eaten raw, and they cut across different families of plants cultivated today. So now, we're going to be looking at some insect pests that attack fruits and vegetable crops. And just like every other crops, these crops are also attacked by insect pests. Some examples of these insects include grasshopper, aphid, leaf roller, and leaf beetle. In our lesson on tuber crops, we explained the kinds of damage caused by grasshoppers to crops. In this lesson, the kind of damage caused by grasshoppers to fruits and vegetable crops are the same because they feed on the leaves, shoots, green stems, fruits, and flowers of fruits and vegetable crops, both the adult and the nymph. What about the aphid? The kind of damage also caused by aphid is similar to the ones that we've discussed in our previous lessons because they suck out the sap of fruits and vegetables just like they do to other crops. And this causes the leaf to fold, the leaf to dry, and also fall off from the plant, resulting in stunted growth and discoloration of the leaves and fruits. So now we've just taken a brief summary of what grasshoppers and aphid does to fruits and vegetables. Now let's talk about one of these insects that we've mentioned earlier in details. And we are going to be concentrating on leaf rollers. Leaf rollers belongs to the insect order Lepidoptera, and they feed on various kinds of plants, including fruits and vegetables. As they feed, they roll these leaves over themselves and remain inside the rolled leaves. Some examples of leaf rollers that damage fruit and vegetable crops are the tree-leaf roller, also called Achis agerospira, black eel leaf roller, called Nymphaea jactatana, and lastly, citrus leaf roller, called Achis occidentalis. Although there are other forms, other types of leaf rollers, but these are the ones that we'll be mentioning in this lesson. And we'll pick out one out of these three mentioned and discuss their life cycle and the nature of damage caused in detail. So we'll be talking about the leaf roller called Achis occidentalis. Achis occidentalis, also called citrus leaf roller, undergo complete metamorphosis comprising of the egg stage, larva stage, pupa stage, and of course the adult stage. So let's talk about these stages one after the other. We are starting with the egg stage. The adult leaf roller lays its egg, and upon laying, they are yellowish, grayish, or cream-like in color. But eventually they turn orange or whitish before they hatch. And they hatch within 3 to 7 days, either in batches or individually. Bringing us to the next stage, which is the larva stage. The larvae are greenish in color, and as they mature, they are able to cause the leaf of citrus plants to roll, rolling them over themselves and holding them in place with a web-like silk thread. This larval stage lasts for a period of 30 days, in which the larvae undergo several molting processes, 4 in number, before turning into pupae within the rolled leaves, giving rise to the next stage, which is the pupal stage. The pupae are greenish in color, but as they mature, they turn dark brown. This pupal stage completes within 8 to 11 days, turning into adults, giving rise to the next stage, which is the adult stage. If you want to measure the adult leaf roller, they are about 13 to 20 millimeters long, and the females are always larger than the males. The color of the adult leaf roller is yellow, while the forewings are dark brown with markings. Aside from this, the hind wings are also orange or yellowish in color, just like the body of the adult leaf roller. One thing that differentiates the adult leaf roller from other leaf rollers is that both the forewings and the hind wings edges are curved, giving them a distinct shape when they are resting. So now, what are the nature of damage caused by these insects to plants? These insects cause damages to crops in its larval stage. The younger larvae are able to feed on young leaves, shoots, flower pods, and young fruits, but as they mature and get older, they are able to feed on mature leaves, rolling them over themselves with the aid of web-like silk thread. This thread holds the plants in place, and the larvae continue to grow and mature as it feeds on the leaves of these plants. This damage that they cause to fruits and vegetable crops denature the fruits and also reduce the market value of vegetable crops. You can see the nature of damage caused by this insect from the image we are having on the screen. The first image displayed on the screen shows web-like thread that this larvae use to hold the leaves in place, while the second image is showing the nature of damage or the kind of damage that this larvae cause to citrus plants. Now let's move to the control method used to control these insects, and we are starting with the cultural methods. To control leaf roller culturally, first you need to locate and destroy all infested leaves and fruits, and you can only do this by regularly inspecting your crops. The second one is to handpick and destroy the larvae of the insect once you see them on your crops. And lastly, avoid planting new crops close to infested crops, because they will move from the old or infested crops to the new crops and cause more damage to them. The next on our list is chemical methods. Just like in chemical methods used in controlling other insects, insecticides are also used to control leaf rollers. Examples of such insecticide are DDT or dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane, pyrethrin, and Rhinexpy. These are the recommended insecticides that are used to control these insects. That brings us to the biological methods. Some of the biological methods that are used to control leaf rollers include the use of biopesticides such as spinosad, dipel, chili spray, neem, and dairies. The bacterium Bacillus thuringiensis is a well-known pathogen of insects, and they can be used to control leaf rollers. Another biological method that can be used is to employ natural enemies such as praying mantis, spiders, tachinid flies, ecnomonid wasps, lacewing larvae, assassin bugs, are some of the natural enemies of these insects that can be used to control them because they feed on the larvae and the adult of these leaf roller insects. That brings us to the next insect on our lesson for today, and that is leaf beetles. Leaf beetles are different species of beetles that feed on the leaves of plants, including fruit and vegetable crops. They belong to the insect order Coleoptera, and examples of beetles that attack fruit and vegetable crops include the orange leaf beetle called Damphidia species, vegetable weevil Listroderus difficilis, and Fuller's beetle Acinonychus savinus, and so many other beetles that attack the leaves of fruits and vegetable crops. For this lesson, we will be picking just one of it, and that is the leaf beetle, also called Listroderus difficilis. Leaf weevil is another kind of beetle, and just like other type of beetle that we've talked about under pest of crops, they are found all over the world and they undergo complete metamorphosis, which include the egg stage, larva stage, pupa stage, and adult stage. Egg stage. In shape, the eggs are spherical and they are either creamy white or greenish in color, and these eggs hatch within 3 to 4 weeks after they are laid, giving rise to the larval stage. The larvae have dotted lines on their body and they have pale yellow head, while their body are greenish or yellowish. Within 4 to 5 weeks, they turn into pupae after undergoing several molting processes. Before turning into pupae, they form a cocoon inside the soil and they pupate right there. Now let's talk about the pupa stage. The pupae stay within the cocoon made by the larvae inside the soil, and after 2 weeks, they emerge as adult weevil, giving rise to the next stage, which is the adult stage. When it comes to the appearance, the adult weevil are grayish-brown in color with long snout. They have a pair of wings and a V-shaped marking on the cover of their wings. So now let's look at the nature of damage caused by these insects to plants. Both the adults and larvae feed and cause damage to crops, but the damages caused by the larvae are minimal compared to that of the adults. True, the larvae feed on fleshy roots, leaves, and fruits of vegetable crops, causing stunted growth, while the adults causes more damage to fruit and vegetable crops because they feed aggressively on the leaves. They also bore into the stems of these plants, causing breakage. All of these can cause serious economic loss to both the farmer and any agribusiness owner. Now, how can these insects be controlled? That brings us to the control method. Culturally, this weevil can be controlled through crop rotation, hand picking, discarding affected plants, and exposing the larvae and pupae of the beetle to heat, natural enemies, through ploughing and harrowing of the ground. These are the ways that these beetles can be controlled. Now let's talk about the chemical method. Some insecticide such as pyrethrin, neem, permethrin, cyphlothrin, and carbaryl are some of the insecticides that can be used to control these pests. These insecticides are applied at recommended dosage or amount to control these leaf beetles. That brings us to the last method used in controlling these insects, and that is the biological methods. Just like other insects that we've talked about under pest of crops, these particular insects too have natural enemies. Fungi of the species Beauveria bassiana, Metarhizium anisoplei causes disease in these beetles. Birds, insects such as tachinid flies, ants, and mites feed on the larvae and adult of these leaf beetles, causing them to die. Lastly, parasitic wasps such as the Ichneumonidae and Braconidae species are used to destroy the larvae and adult beetles. Now we've come to the end of our lesson, but before we go, let us take a quick summary of what we have discussed so far. We've seen some examples of pests that attack fruit and vegetable crops, and we've mentioned some of them, which include grasshopper, aphid, leaf roller, and others. We've also seen that the young and mature larvae of leaf rollers attack and feed on the leaves of crops while boring holes in them as they feed. We've also learned that the older larvae roll and stick the leaves of fruit and vegetable plants over themselves with web-like thread. We also discussed that both the larvae and the adult leaf beetles feed on the leaves of fruit and vegetable crops, causing serious damage to them. Now we've come to the end of our lesson, but before we go, let us take some questions to test our knowledge of our lesson so far. Question number 1. Which of the following is not a cultural method used to control leaf rollers? A. Locating and destroying infested leaves and fruits. B. Crop rotation. C. Hand-picking and destroying the larvae. Or D. Avoid planting crops close to infested plants. The correct answer is B. Crop rotation. Question 2. At what stage is the leaf beetles most destructive? A. Larval and adult stage. B. Adult stage. C. Larval stage. Or D. Larval, pupal, and adult stage. The correct answer is B. Adult stage. I hope you can now describe fruit and vegetable crops and identify the insect pests that attack fruit and vegetable crops. See you in my next class, and bye for now.